Welcome to the Weekly Leader with your host, David Guerra.
Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Dave Guerra. This is the Weekly Leader. Yeah, it took a couple of weeks off there for the holiday, but hey, we're back and we're in the holiday still, so hope you're having a good one. And so again, you know the premise of the show. One, a story, we break it down, leadership, and we put the leadership spin on that. Two, we take a leadership concept and we put this leadership spin on it. So without delay, let's get started. All right, so the first story deals with the railway workers. Railway workers, they were set to strike. They wanted to strike. They were have some demands that need to be met, and they were not being met. So they were getting ready to strike. Then, of course, they called on the president and the government to step in and say, hey, let's just fix this. Let's get this under control. Let's get something going, at least something to move forward with. And sure enough, something's happened. Now, the situation here is that when it comes to workers and management and worker conditions and management needing to get the job done, there needs to be some concession. Obviously, I'm pro business, 100% pro business, but again, I'm also pro worker. So it's kind of double-edged sword on that. And in the sense that, you know, there needs to be some basic needs met for the worker, obviously understood. But again, the extravagant stuff, need to have a chef on hand every day. No, that doesn't fly. But some of the things that they were asking for, yes, there needs to be negotiation, there needs to be communication. And to the point that if it needs to break down, it needs to come to a halt, it needs to end, meaning the conversation, the communication, or just actually performing the duties because they're not getting what they want. Isn't that something like kids throwing a tantrum? And again, I know what I'm saying here. And before you go off, well, you got to understand, these people are putting food on their table. They're still getting paid. They've been living up to this point with what they've had, what they've been receiving. I get that. Get that too. Understand that. It is that they want a little bit more. They want a little better conditions to work with, or they want these additional protections. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm all for that. Yes, paid leave, paid sick leave. I was surprised they didn't have any, to tell you the truth. And it's one of those that if you take leave and you could be fired for that, you're out sick, you could be fired for that. Again, I'm vehemently opposed to that. I mean, without a doubt, that's nonsense. And yes, there should be some kind of protection. If you get the flu, you get your cold, whatever, you're out sick, you have appendicitis, you don't know when that's going to flare up and that's going to happen, and off you go. But hey, again, there should be some form of protection, so I understand. So there needs to be communication, and this is a perfect example of communication, two-way communication, dialogue, and then what happens when it breaks down. This is a perfect example of that, folks. That two-way communication breaks down, and still, for the greater good, that's when the federal government stepped in, for the greater good, the entire nation, and because it was going to affect everybody, all railway. So it's one of those that it's understood. It's sometimes a third party needs to be brought in to at least as a stopgap, as a filler until the actual final resolution is made. The federal government does it all the time when they do the works. They're going to run out of money. The government will run out of money on this day, so the government might shut down like it did a couple of years ago. Then it picks back up again. The same thing. There is a stopgap, so they will, until a budget is set, they will go ahead and sign off on an interim budget, and that way it keeps things moving, keeps the operations moving, and the same thing should be done here. But there will be times when obviously negotiations fail and the next step is to shut down. And I get that. That's part of business. That is business. That's great business. Because again, it ensures that everybody is understood, everybody is heard, everybody has a piece of the action, and everybody plays a part in resolution. So again, leaders, open communication, open dialogue, and keep that conversation going, even through back channels if they ever do break down. Leaders, it's important. It's a classic example of why communication is first and foremost something you must understand, master, and practice. Okay, now it's time for leadership concept. Leadership concept, well, this is a broad spectrum. It's about being humble, little humility, having some empathy. It is the holiday season, and we're going to be doing this. We're going to be shopping for these things. What's in here? We're going to be shopping for that. We're going to be going online. We're going to be visiting stores. And again, folks, everyone, and this applies to everyone. This is a great leadership skill because it reflects who you are if you don't apply this. And trust me, I just recently saw a very, very ugly example from someone I thought I'd never expect to see it. Okay, what I saw was someone being very unappreciative, someone being very rude, someone being very ugly, very not human about a business, about what they purchased, about what they purchased from that business, and how they were treated with the free gift that was given. And it's like, a little appreciation. This small business didn't have to do what it did, but yet it did it. Little appreciation that this small business went above and beyond during the beginning of the holiday season, and now they're well into it. And I get it. People are not going to be happy with what they get, but then again, why is that the business's fault? You walked into the business, you clicked online to go to that business, and yet it's their fault that you didn't like what you got. It's their fault you did not like what you ordered. It's their fault that you purchased something that obviously you didn't like when you finally got home with it. Maybe it's buyer's remorse. I don't know. But the thing is here, folks, is they're doing a job. They're doing a business. They're in business for a reason. And those people on the front line, the cashiers, the clerks, those individuals, the stock people, those on the front lines, they're the ones getting the brunt of it. They're the ones getting the brunt of it. And I know I've been there. I've been in retail during the holiday season. And trust me, it's not a fun thing. It really isn't. It's great because you get to hear the Christmas music all day long, but you don't get the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? You don't like it? Go someplace else. No, because again, everyone's hustling. Everyone's grinding to make a buck, because in this times, in this day and age, in this economy, yes, it is. It's worth it. And so you have to put up with it. But again, on the other side, shoppers, you don't have to give it. You don't like it? Move along. Find another business. Don't complain. You're the one spending your money. Blame yourself. Don't blame the organization. Don't blame the clerks. Don't blame the people that are giving and packing away the free stuff. You don't like it? Send it back. That's it. It's just that simple. Now, if they flat out blatantly just totally disregarded your order, and it does happen on occasion, then it's a different story. Call them out on it. Let's get it rectified. But again, calling out businesses just because something you purchased you didn't like, that's not a good leader. That's peeling back the layers and revealing who you are inside. And folks, no one wants to be that person. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. And on that another note, listen, happy holidays. We'll talk to you again. I'll be back. So we'll talk then. Take it easy. I'm Dave Guerra. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Take it easy.